From a farm boy to a soldier, Ulysses S. Grant, the great hero and the winning general of the Civil War. In 1861, the Civil War broke out, dividing the nation. Struggling to keep the country together, Lincoln fought the rebelling states to keep them from seceding. The Union Army desperately needed an aggressive general who could win the war. Ulysses S. Grant was to be that general. As the war went on, the once excited soldiers became weary of fighting. While the East was not having much luck, Lincoln noticed more and more success in the West. Ulysses S. Grant was becoming more known throughout the United States. The Union goal was to capture the Mississippi River, and by doing so, the Confederacy would be split in half. Grant moved one step closer to that goal when he captured Fort Henry on February 1862. This was the first significant victory for the Union and General Grant's first major triumph. Grant's army took over Fort Henry without much difficulty with the aid of Andrew Hull Foote, an admiral in the United States Navy. Few days after the capture of Fort Henry, Grant moved 12 miles east towards Fort Donelson. It was February 14, 1862, a cold and quiet morning, and all the soldiers were exhausted of fighting. This particular battle in the Civil War went on for 4 days. It started on February 12th and ended on February 16th. Admiral Foote came to help with his fleet of ironclads that afternoon. Expecting the wind to be easy like at Fort Henry, he moved in too close to the fort, giving the Confederates a way to counterattack. Made of metal, ironclads were designed to withstand cannons and bullets. They only submerged halfway above water, making it harder for the enemy to hit and damage them. They were the most powerful type of warships during the Civil War. The strongest the ironclads were, the Confederates inflicted much damage to them, wounding Foote as well. During the 1.5-hour duel, the ironclads were forced to retreat. The Union troops were devastated, but the Southerners' joy did not last long. Grant was receiving new recruits every day. The next day, they surrounded the entire fort and trapped the Confederates. At this point, the Confederates were winning and the Union Army was slowly being pushed back. Then Grant counterattacked and surrounded the fort once again. By nightfall, all the Confederate troops had been driven back to their original positions. On February 16, General Buckner asked Grant for the terms of surrender.
Sir, a message from General Buckner.
Grant's reply was,
"No terms except unconditional and immediate surrender can be accepted."
His reply gave him the nickname Unconditional Surrender Grant. This victory gave the Union control of the Cumberland River and raised hopes for the soldiers. Grant was promoted from Brigadier General to Major General. On April 6, 1862, Grant attacked the Confederates in Tennessee led by General Beauregard. The Battle of Shiloh lasted for 2 days and turned out to be the bloodiest battle in the Civil War. Confederate Army had 10,694 casualties and the Union Army had 13,047. On the first day of the battle, the Confederate Army attacked and forced the Union Army to fall back. They came close to defeating Grant but were unsuccessful because their lines became confused during the heavy fighting. On the second day of the battle, General Buell's army joined up with Grant's and attacked the Confederates, forcing them to retreat. Although Grant had won another key battle in the Civil War, people wanted him removed from command because he kept on fighting and did not retreat, causing so many of the soldiers' deaths at Shiloh. It was also known that Grant had been a heavy drinker at the time of the Mexican War. There were rumors that he was drunk during the Battle of Shiloh, giving people a reason to think that that is why there were so many casualties. Lincoln believed that Grant could fight, so he refused to release him, saying,
"I cannot spare this man. He fights."
In 1863, Grant set out to take Vicksburg to give Union complete control of the Mississippi River and to split the Confederacy in half. Daringly, Grant went into enemy territory, cutting off all his supply lines. Moving swiftly, he did not give General Pemberton, the Confederate general, the chance to concentrate the Confederate forces against him. On May 16, 1863, Grant won the Battle of Champion Hill, forcing the Confederates to retreat to Vicksburg. There he completely surrounded the city. This was the start of his 6-week siege. On July 4, 1863, Pemberton surrendered to Grant. The Union victory at Vicksburg and also at Gettysburg, which was fought the day before, is considered the turning point of the war. In 1864, Lincoln promoted Grant, giving him full command of the Union armies. Grant understood what many generals before him had not noticed. He knew that if he captured General E. Lee, the Confederate States would fall easily. To put his plan into action, Grant sent Sherman to capture Atlanta. 2 generals moved near Richmond, and 2 other generals blocked railroad supply lines in West Virginia. On April 1, 1865, at the Battle of Five Forks, Grant's army defeated Lee's, forcing him to withdraw from Richmond. The Confederate capital fell to the Union under General Grant's leadership. The Southerners were greatly outnumbered by Grant's army. Lee knew that there was no way of beating the Union and that there was nothing left to do except surrender.
Then there is nothing left for me to do but go to see General Grant, and I would rather die 1,000 deaths.
On April 9, 1865, Lee surrendered to Grant in Appomattox Courthouse. His terms of surrender were generous and simple. The Confederate States would return to the Union in peace, and Lee could keep his legendary horse. U.S. Grant became a great hero during the Civil War and was admired by many.